The fucking trade between the Sixers and the Clippers, we're about 2 weeks into it, 5 games into both eras, man. They've been on two different sides of the spectrum. The Sixers are 8-1, number one in the Eastern Conference right now. I mean, I said a couple weeks ago that I felt like they were going to be on trade alert with Joel Embiid. I might have talked too early. Granted, still early in the fucking season, a lot of shit can happen. But they're 8-1 right now. They are 5-0 since the James Harden trade. Tyrese Maxey is looking like addition by subtraction. He is averaging 28.6 points per game this season. And here's the kicker right here: 7.2 assists per game. Which is big. He's actually facilitating the offense and looking like a point guard. He had 50 points last night for the Sixers, and he dedicated his game to Kelly Oubre, who we hope gets better. He got hit by a car last couple days ago, so we hope he gets better. Tyrese Maxey dedicated game to him. Clippers on the other side, 0-5. Lost to the fucking Memphis Grizzlies last night at home without Ja Morant. They're on 5 without James Harden. And Zubac has been out with a sprained MCL. He's going to be out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Before I kick it to y'all, I'll give my answer for this. To me, it's kind of very simple. With the Clippers, they're not looking good, but I'm not ready to press the panic button yet. And I think that Kawhi hit the nail on the head when he was asked this last night. Yes, they're not playing well. But Harden, it's going to take Harden for a while for him to get in game shape. I mean, this nigga, you know how Harden does when he's trying to get a trade. The nigga gets lazy. He don't work out. He don't do shit like that. And I think you're really seeing that. But more importantly, they trained with the team all training camp, preseason, first couple of games of the season with the roster they had. A lot of the glue guys that they had with the Batum and Morris, all those other guys. Now they're moving to different positions now. Russ had finally gotten to his position. Now that you got Harden there, he's got to adjust. And then Zubac is a major loss that I don't feel like enough people are talking about. So I do feel like they'll be fine. I don't know if they'll reach contender status. It's kind of hard to say that with the Clippers now, but I'm not really too much panicking on this. We're still in November. Like Bang always said, this season doesn't even matter until Christmas. I think they'll get it back together. They also started 0-5 last year when they got Russell Westbrook. So I think once they start to get their guys healthy and guys start to know their roles and James Harden gets in more game shape, I think they'll be fine, at least as far as playoff race is concerning. We don't know what they'll look like on the playoffs. With the Sixers, man, Tyrese Maxey is looking like the savior that they needed. This kid is hooping. He's been scoring the ball, picking up the offensive slack that James Harden has left, and he's been facilitating. Him and Joel Embiid just look good. Just all together, that defense has been playing good. And it looks like the team has been better with it. Nicholas Batum, he's come in. He's really just added another punch. Before Kelly Oubre got hurt, he was hooping. So I really like what they're doing. And it kind of feels like, yeah, we don't have James Harden anymore, but that I feel like that cancer that was in the locker room that we see in every locker room that James Harden has been in since he left Houston, it's kind of been addition by subtraction, and I really like what they're seeing. And I think the Sixers, while I don't feel like they'll finish with the number 1 seed, I do eventually think the Bucks will get their shit together, and I do think the Celtics will find some consistency. But I really like what I've been seeing with the Sixers. I'm gonna go to you first, Dante. What do you think about number 1, the Clippers, how they've been playing, and just really this whole situation for both teams so far?
I mean, I haven't been a James Harden guy for a while. I used to shoot him a lot of bail, but now it's to the point where you come in with all this I am a system shit, and then the team goes 0-5. You got guys like Bones Highland who were playing really well, and they just get completely removed from the lineup for the sake of James Harden. So you don't like to see that, but I mean, that's when you trade for a certain name, bro, gonna get his playing time. So you knew they were gonna try to force that issue and get that in there. So I'm not worried. Obviously, it's way too early. Sometimes we treat the NBA like the NFL, and it's like teams lose 5 games and they're like, oh shit, the season's over. In reality, that really don't mean shit. So I'm not ready to panic at all. But with Philadelphia, it was addition by subtraction. You got rid of, once again, you saw the same thing happen in Brooklyn last year. You get rid of the people that don't want to be there, and the team suddenly start playing better. And so with them, Tyrese Maxey, James Harden with his statement, I am a system, is kind of, give and take with that, because yeah, he is a system, but he takes up a lot of shots from other players who can still contribute to the team. But with him always dribbling the shit out of the basketball, and doing isolation. That's, you don't get to see that. And so with Maxey, you see him flourishing. You see Embiid still being Embiid. And I think Philadelphia is going to just keep going and getting better. And you also, have put yourself in a position to add another player down the line if you want to. So I think not panicking on the Clippers, not ready to press the panic button at all. But if I'm Philadelphia, I'm loving what I did.
Bang, what you thinking on that?
Hey man, I think this was like 5 years ago. I made a video. In that video, I said that James Harden was the worst superstar in the NBA. This was like the year after he won MVP. Or before he won MVP. I said he's the worst superstar in the NBA. And he's still the worst superstar in the NBA. I don't even know if at this point we could call James Harden a superstar. This is NBA 2K, NBA Live at its finest. GMing. And if I'm Daryl Morley, I'm laughing at this point. Because it is addition by subtraction. But here's the other thing that people don't necessarily talk about. Talk about how close Daryl Morley and James Harden was. So if they was that damn close, y'all don't think that Daryl Morley knew, like, hey, if you want to go, somebody getting finessed, and we gonna get somebody. He gonna try to get it in his way, but he got it another way. He got it in the late first round pick, in a couple of years when ain't none of them niggas gonna be on the Clippers, and they gonna be huff as hell, probably looking like the Clippers of old, the Gary Grant, Pooh Richardson,
Holy shit.
Michael Cage, Lloyd Vault, Charles Smith, Danny Manning.
Oh my God, these names.
Oh, God damn
Pooh
it.
Richardson.
Eric Piakowski, Brent Barry, Clippers, yeah, nigga. Nigga, not even Q Rich, because them niggas was at least exciting, nigga. I named you them Clippers that you got all they basketball cards when them niggas was huff. I'm talking about the year.
Them niggas tickets was selling at Jack in the Box.
Dead ass, goddammit. Like, yo, he knew it. And James Harden, man, like, if it's ever somebody that made so much money off of their name in NBA history, it's that nigga. It's that nigga. Like, James Harden is making money because his name is James Harden, and somebody always believed that he got some more in the tank. Nah, fam, it's a wrap, and he got that team looking bad. And I know Russ probably is playing it cool because he don't want to get kicked out of the league and shit. But that video when James Harden came into the locker room? And he was like, yo, yeah, that was for real. Russ really like putting the line like, look, you about to come fuck some shit up for me again, fam. You stay your ass over there before I beat your ass, cuz. Like, now
I thought that was just friends being reacquainted, but you might be onto something.
Nah, I thought so too. But they was cooking with Russ.
Yeah.
Russ was kind of looking like the Russ of old. Now,
he got share with this nigga. I don't know. What you think about Philly though? Let's go to Philly before we go on to the next one.
Now, Philly, addition by subtraction. We've been waiting for Tyrese Maxey to blow up. Basically, we've been waiting for him to get his shine, and he got his shine. Got 50. Dedicated to the homie who got hit by a car. Shouts out to Kelly Oubre, who probably didn't even want to be in Philly. He wanted to be somewhere else, even though he ain't mad at it. Yeah, he was like, yo, I came out here and I got hit by a car. What the fuck, fam? Like, can't even get it.
I'm not trying to be funny, but I really want to know how big was this car. Because that nigga's like 6'7". And they said they hit that nigga in the chest. This nigga get hit by a truck? Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm legit wondering.
Hey. All I'm going to say is this, man. We almost wrote out Philly.
And we almost did.
Not only might it be good addition by subtraction, they could go out and get somebody else.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Send
true.
Zach ass out there.
Let's move on to when you talk about Zach. Let's talk actual young talent who's exciting. Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards right now is on fire. He is averaging 27.9 points per game on 50% shooting. That's the most impressive part. The Wolves are 7-2. They're the number 3 team in the West right now. Just beat the Golden State Warriors last night. They also beat the Boston Celtics last week. He went head-to-head with Jason Tatum, had a better game than Jason Tatum. I'm gonna start with you, Dante, because you out there in the A. I know everybody love out in the A. What do you like seeing from Anthony Edwards? Do you think he's finally arrived, and do you think this is something that the Wolves can keep up? I kind of feel like they actually have a point guard right now. They have Mike Conley for his full season. Gobert finally looks healthy, and Cat is moving back to being the number 2 player on this team. What do you like what you're seeing from Ant right now?
I love it, and I'm gonna take it a step further. I think in the next 5 years, Anthony Edwards will be the best basketball player in the National Basketball
I
Association.
like that.
I think he is. I think he's a superstar. I think he's great. I think he's cut in the same cloth as the two gentlemen behind me. Well, like he's just a killer out there, and most importantly, he brings it every night, and you see that, and you see it in his actions. You see it when he's talking about it. When we went into last season, changing his diet and how he say he don't eat fast food no more, and really just taking care of his body and doing other things you want to see your franchise player do. I think he's taking it to that next level, and he's going to continue to elevate. And I think he's a superstar. And so for me, I just wonder now, how long does that happen in Minnesota? Minnesota is notorious for being shit, being Minnesota. So we'll see if they can actually build around him. Like you said, the Gobert trade was fucking terrible. So at this point, you got to see what they're gonna do with Cat. But you clearly at this point you build around Anthony Edwards. I think he's a superstar in every sense of the word, and it's only gonna get better from here.
I like that take. I really like that take. I like it because I can see him. He has all the tools to being the best player in the NBA. He has a great shot. He goes to the basket. There's nothing this dude can't do offensively. And he's not a slouch defensively. He was getting in Jason Tatum's face. That's the shit that I've been wanting to see from this younger generation. I'm gonna sound like an old head here, but it felt like, of course, there was admiration between the two. But he's going at it, and he doesn't. He's a dog, man. He doesn't take anything. As he's not playing around. Like I think last night was perfect. They were up by 10. And, Draymond does what Draymond do, when they're losing, try to get in the opposing player's head. He went to the basket with a layup. Draymond sent the shit. Draymond said, "You thought I was gonna let you get that layup? Fuck out of here." He looked at Draymond dead in his face like, "Ain't nobody worried about you, Draymond." I started laughing. Like that's the best way to deal with a Draymond Green. So I really love what I see from Ant. And I think if you're Adam Silver, this is shit you want to see. You want to see the stuff you're seeing from Victor Wembanyama. You want to see the stuff that you're seeing from some of the younger guys. But to have a guy like Anthony Edwards who has amazing personality, when we talk about superstardom, it's more than just on the court. He can carry this league off the court too. It's what you love to see from, especially in a market like Minnesota. They haven't had a star like him since Kevin Garnett. So that's why I love what I'm seeing from Anthony Edwards. Bang, what you think about what you seeing from Ant?
Man, boy, Ant is about to be what Ja Morant was supposed to be, which
Preach.
is the best American basketball player in the world. Ain't no way around it. That man got the dog mentality, like Dante said, the two men behind him, Mike and Kobe. And I love it. I just don't like it in Minnesota. That's the only thing. I don't like it in Minnesota, but it's so refreshing to see him play now. I think the Olympics, well, not the Olympics, but the World Championships and everything that happened, plus dealing with, Steve Kerr and all of those, like, I think all of that helped him to be a better player and everything. So, man, I can't wait. Like, I can't wait to see him towards the end of this season. Like, as he matures throughout the season. I can't wait to see that.
Definitely. These last two topics I'm kind of like grouped together. It's kind of like two different sides of the spectrum. We're gonna talk about the Young Bucks. First, man. It's kind of like a combo question. So when we're seeing from the Oklahoma City Thunder, it's been really great. We talked about them on the show before. They are currently 5th in the West. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams. They are combining an averaging combined 63.7 points per game right now. Not just only that, Chet is doing it defensively. And we even got guys like Josh Giddey who've been coming in and bringing in good games, averaging 16 points per game. And he's giving you he had like 8 assists the other night. That's going to play in. This team had a big win over the Phoenix Suns the other day. I mean, actually last night. And they're looking pretty good. And on the other side, you have the Houston Rockets, who are 4th in the West right now. Jalen Green, 20 points per game. Fred VanVleet, 16 points per game and 8.4 assists per game. They've got 2 wins against the Sacramento Kings, a blowout win of the Los Angeles Lakers with both Anthony Davis and LeBron James playing. And they just beat the Pelicans. They beat the Pelicans with Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram. And they just beat the defending champions in Denver last night. To me, this is what I'm seeing right now. I don't know if I'm way more confident in the Thunder. I'm way more confident in the Thunder having this last more than I am with the Rockets because of just the talent level right there on the individual perspective. And I think this has been something that's been bubbling over the last couple of years for them. But what I do love what I'm seeing from Houston is, first of all, Ime Udoka, he might be a fornicator, which I really don't care about. I don't even know why it's that big of a news. I don't give a shit about what this nigga does. By the way, Jeezy, you not low. If we had summer sessions this week, I would talk about that Jeezy interview. But we're going to talk about that next week when we do summer sessions. But Ime Udoka is a really good coach. And what you're seeing, it's just a different energy in Houston right now. Like, you spend all that money on Fred VanVleet, he's instantly coming in making an impact. Jalen Green is being young, and he's actually starting to play better and coming in like more of an offensive leader on that team. This is a team that had 0 direction last year. They're actually a team right now. We can talk shit about Dylan Brooks all the time. He brings an edge to that team. He's been playing well, and they've been beating some good opponents. Whether it's early or not, it's been good to see. I don't know if this is gonna last. I still don't know if I would pick them to be a play-in team out west. They might miss it by a little bit, but if anything, this is a team on the rise. Dante, what do you think about what you've been seeing from these two young squads in the Western Conference?
I like the Thunder a lot. I agree with everything you said about the Rockets, especially with Udoka. And shout out to Matt Barnes who saying he would never coach again. It was a great call.
The extreme overreaction.
Man, that was crazy. But I really like the Thunder with Shea and Chet. And Chet is gonna be a fucking problem, bro. Like he is as advertised. We just need him to stay healthy. I think with someone at his size, and we see how everything has transpired with Kevin Durant, although they're 2 different people, but at the same time, similar frames, and the lower body injuries. You don't want to see that. So just needing them to stay healthy. But I loved everything I seen from the Thunder. I think that's exactly what the NBA wanted, because they have so many draft picks, and the only way they can get like a top talent in there for at least a minimum of 5 years is to draft them. Like, you're not gonna sign people. So they've been hitting on these picks. They've put together a quality team, and they're gonna be one of those scrappy teams that get to the first round, second round as they mature. But it's also eerily similar, and like, I don't want to predict the future or anything like that, where you had 3 MVPs there and they ended up leaving. So as they become superstars, you can see Shea, Chet, bouncing and going somewhere else. So so far I like what I see. And like you said with the Rockets, I like Jalen Green a lot. I like young athletic wings. That's what we've seen lead to championships in this league. And just want to see where they go from here. But when you got a guy like Udoka at the helm, whoever they bring into that system is going to be a good thing. And I think with Udoka there, even though they're a really young team, you may be able to get a star in there to play with those young guys as he coaches them up.
Bang, what you think on these young bucks?
First of all, with the Houston Rockets, I'm shocked. It was just a very immature team. Let's be real. That team, remove the domestic violence nigga out.
Who? Oh, you talking about who? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, buddy.
Just taking him out. That team was still very immature. You bring in Fred VanVleet. You don't bring in James Harden like that. Even thinking about it, they gave
told James Harden no.
They told him, nah, fam, we good. We're good. You could come back to Onyx and party, but you're not playing with the Rockets, my G. And that's what also caused probably some of this spiral that we have right now. But that team was still a very immature team. So for Ime Udoka to come in, who made a pretty immature decision, even though it's none of our business, it's still a very immature decision that Coochie cost him a job with a world championship team. So when you look at Ime Udoka, who's a pretty good coach there, you look at him and you say, all right, you was a good coach there with all of this talent. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, even though he can't dribble towards his left. Other folks. What happened if you come to this young ass team? And it makes me feel like the Bulls made a dumbass decision because we should have had Nia Long courtside at Bulls games till she found out that nigga was cheating. Because that man, Ime, is coaching his ass off. Them players responding.
And he probably having a fun time because he lives in Houston.
They all probably having a great immature, but keeping it on low time. Now with OKC, this is expected. Why? Because when you got all them first round picks, you better get something. And they hit on trading to get Shy. And then you got Chet, Josh Giddey over there. What's my man named? Jalen Williams?
Jalen Green. You talking about on the Thunder? Yeah, Jalen Williams. J-Dub. Yeah.
Yeah, like that whole team is young, and eventually, if properties, players stay together, they can eventually win a world championship with the talent that they have. Not talking about this year or next year, but they're one of those teams, if they keep it constructed and all of the people from Sam Presti and they all stay in place, you're looking at a potential world champion. But I would move said property to another city because I don't want no world champion coming out of OK City. Sorry, y'all.
we are a small city. We are big city leaders on this show.
Nigga, y'all are Plainfield, Illinois. With buildings. With tall buildings, my nigga.
Let's get to our final topic, and then we're gonna wrap this episode up, man. Let's talk about put it all in one, so we're not like all over the place. We got some veteran teams. They're starting off pretty slow, man. We've got a team, and we were just talking about on here a couple weeks ago. We were talking about, actually not even a couple weeks ago, it was last week. We were talking about the Golden State Warriors and how well they've started off. They have not been looking good since. The offense has looked extremely bad. It looks like the only one out there playing well is Steph Curry. Matter of fact, this is the stat I've got for you guys. Outside of Steph, we have Andrew Wiggins and Chris Paul are combined 10 of 63 from 3-point land through 11 games. That is disgusting. Klay Thompson does not look like the Klay Thompson role, nowhere near the Klay Thompson role. And the biggest problem with Klay is the inconsistency. He's out here missing layups. Draymond's been in and out of the rotation because of injuries. And we got the young guns like Moody and Kuminga who have been like players who don't play that much. They've been good sometimes. They've not been good sometimes. Now you got a team in the Phoenix Suns who they're still yet to get their full complement of players together yet. Devin Booker hasn't been in the lineup last couple games. Bradley Beal just came back. Kevin Durant's still doing his thing, but what I'm seeing with the Suns is the same thing I saw with those Lakers-led teams by Frank Vogel is the offense getting stagnant towards the end. We're seeing the same thing here. They had no business losing that game to the Lakers on Friday, and they had no business losing at home to the fucking Thunder last night either. You had both of those losses in their fourth quarter meltdown. And you got the problems that the Bucks have been having. The Bucks just got blown out by the fucking Orlando Magic. If the playoffs started today, they wouldn't even be in the fucking play-in. So my question, I'm going to go to you, Dante, first. Out of these three teams, which one are you the most worried about long-term, and which one are you like, I'm not really worried about them at all?
The one I'm most worried about is the Warriors, because this was like, for a lot of people, it was like the last time putting the band back together. And so, we already had questions about the Chris Paul addition. We had questions about which Klay Thompson you were going to get, which Draymond you were going to get. You just paid him how many million they paid Draymond?
110 million.
110. So, I mean, you put the band back together to go after another championship. So, and again, it is early, but long term, that's the one I'd be concerned about the most, especially with the way Klay's been playing. And so the Suns, that's just a group of crippled motherfuckers they just put together. it is really crazy. Bradley Beal, like, when will he be back? He's not back yet, is he?
Yeah, he back. He been back the last couple of games.
Last couple of games off. Well,
The fact that you didn't know tells you everything you need to know about the Phoenix Suns.
exactly. So, like, with that team, it's just a matter of keeping them on the court, because that's going to be an issue all season for all three of them. I think Devin Booker will have an MVP type of season if he can stay healthy, but I don't know if he's going to stay healthy. So I'm not really concerned about the Suns long term, though, because they are still a little bit younger in comparison to the Warriors. The Bucks, they'll figure it out. Like, those are two really good players, two really elite players, and they're in the Eastern Conference, even though the Eastern Conference is better than it has been over the years. But I'm not really concerned about them. But long term, like, most concerning is definitely the Warriors.
Yeah,
Man,
it's the
where you
Warriors.
laying at?
It's the Warriors. Like, it's over, fam. Like, this is a wrap. I was thinking while Dante was talking, this is why Michael Jordan retired.
Which time?
Like, this is what the second time. This is why he didn't come back. This is why he didn't come back. I don't want to hear that shit about, wanting to, try to lose or whatever. Nah. This is why. Because we are seeing the destruction of the Golden State Warriors because niggas getting old, washed, and huff. Simple. Like, first of all, it's amazing to see Steph continue to do what he do. The way that he do it.
Appreciate it too, man.
Yeah, like, I'm probably appreciating Steph now more than ever, and I've always appreciated Steph. But to see him doing this, to see wash Chris Paul on the bench, can't do nowhere near
that mid-range jumper is done. The midi that Chris Paul, that shit is dead and gone, bro.
Yeah,
dead and gone.
Chris Paul should be somebody's coach right now. Like, that's where we at right now. Chris Paul should be the coach of somebody's NBA team right now. He should have went the Jason Kidd route. Dre's pissing me off, and that's saying a lot. Because you can't first of all, I don't think a lot of people was intimidated by him anyway.
To begin with.
But now, like, the shit with Ant, like, come on, fam, get the fuck up out of here. You're not good enough to even do that. And you're not going to steal off me, so shut the fuck up. And Clay, it's just unfortunate because it looks like all of these injuries and the time off and all of that is now coming to eat Clay and the rest of his talent up. So, yeah, it's the Golden State Warriors, and it's not even close to me.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Warriors the one I'm most worried about just because and not even Chris Paul is just not going to get better. Like, that shot is done. Like, it's a wrap. And we haven't had the inevitable Chris Paul injury that is coming. Let's be very clear about that. It's going to happen. That's going to happen. But the biggest reason why I think they're done is Clay's not Clay anymore. That's just really what it comes down to. Clay's not Clay anymore. Now, it wouldn't shock me. I'm not saying that Steph Curry would go anywhere. I feel like he's a Warrior lifer, but it also depends after the season's over what he wants to do for the rest of his career. Because, like you just said, man, he's still playing at a very high level. And so would he do I want to compete for another championship and I would prefer to leave because I don't think this is the situation here. Or maybe they go out there and they try to bring a guy in to help Steph. But I do think it's not going to get any better. I think the most they can hope for is that Clay can at least get some of decent consistency and maybe Kuminga and Moody start getting consistency as well. But that's really about it. But as concerned as I am about the Warriors, I'm just as concerned about the Suns. If we want to be 100% real about it, I'm not. To me, Bradley Beal is just a guy. I think that Bradley Beal is as talented as he is just a fucking. He's a 40-degree day. That's who I think Bradley Beal is. I think Devin Booker is a beast. I think Devin Booker is the best shooting guard in the NBA, and I don't even think it's relatively close who's number two. So I do think that once he gets over his back issue, he'll be fine. And we all know KD's going to do what KD's going to do too. But the biggest question mark here, even putting this team together when the trade happened during when they traded for Bradley Beal during the summer, I wasn't moved because it's like. That doesn't move anything to me. So Vogel's late game offense concerns me, and I do think that them worrying about how much slack is KD going to have to pick up just in the regular season. So I feel like that's going to be a problem for them. But I'm not worried about the Milwaukee Bucks in the fucking slightest. They'll figure it out. Dame has missed the last couple games because of injury. Once they get more time together, they'll be fine. The Jay Crowder injury, which they announced that he's going to be out, I think like the next
8 weeks.
I don't know if 8 weeks. Yeah, 8 weeks. That concerns me a little bit. But overall, they're in the Eastern Conference. Outside of Philadelphia and Boston, they have no equals. I'm not really worried about them at all, man. So
paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna